Well, good morning. We are in Pattaya, Thailand. And today I want to talk to you about a subject that's come up a lot in the comment section about how I manage my money overseas. This has been an important topic for folks because when you go overseas and say you're going to go for a short vacation, that's one thing, say 2 weeks, okay? That's one aspect of trying to manage your money. But now imagine living overseas and spending the majority of your time in a foreign country. The way that you manage your money becomes very different because you're going from country to country. You're also dealing with more than just whipping out a credit card now and then. You're dealing with needing cash. You're dealing with trying to connect to banks that are in other countries. How do you do all this? I'm going to talk to you about that today so that you feel more comfortable about how to handle your money when you live overseas for an extended amount of time. Okay, let's talk about that now. Today we're going to relax on the beach and we're going to talk about the safest and most efficient ways to use your money. When I travel from the United States to Asia, I don't like to bring a large amount of cash. It's not safe. And what are you supposed to do? Walk around with it all the time? You got to leave it somewhere locked up or secured. Instead, what I like to do is make an estimation of how many countries I'm going to be hitting that year. In each country, when I fly in and I'm at the airport, I like to take a $100 bill. It needs to be as fresh and crisp as possible. And I will cash that into the local currency. That gives me the ability to get from the airport to my hotel. It also gives me money for, a couple of days, or if I do need some pocket money on me. From that point on, I use the local ATMs. We're going to talk about that in a moment. And I use my credit card from then on. And we're going to talk about that as well. But that's how I handle my currency when I travel overseas. And that system has worked great for a long time. Let's talk about pulling money out of an ATM while I'm traveling. I just got done this year traveling through South America. And now I'm traveling through Southeast Asia for the rest of this year. So I've had a chance to see what it's like to use ATMs in different areas. Let me give you kind of a breakdown of what I've noticed. The first thing that I noticed is that ATMs, when I was in South America, I did not find a lot of secure locations to use. I tried to find large shopping malls, or I tried to find a bank that was open. And that was not easy to do. I wasn't able to find those two things. Also, I noticed that ATMs that I went to in many of the countries in South America had no cash to pull out. They were empty. And when I spoke to some of the locals, like the hotels, they said, that's the way they usually are. They usually are empty. So you cannot rely on the ATMs always. If you're relying on ATMs for everything that you do financially, you can find yourself in a hard place. But they do come in handy for uses while I'm in country. Southeast Asia, I have had no problems. There's a few guidelines that I use. First, I find an ATM that's in a secure location like a large mall or a bank where you walk into the bank and then you use that ATM. That has always worked well for me. I do not use small, privately owned ATMs for anything. I don't care if they have a sign saying, oh, there's no fees. I don't care, okay? I'm not using an ATM that's in an establishment. I'm not using an ATM that's in a convenience store. I'm going to a large mall or I'm going to a bank. And I'm gonna walk into that bank and use the ATM there. That's first. The second thing is the ATM card that I'm going to use has to have no overseas conversion fees. I don't want any fee for that money to be converted into the local currency. I just want it converted. The third thing is that ATM card should have no ATM fees. And I know right now you're saying, wait a minute, what cards do that? Of course they have ATM fees. You can't have no conversion costs. You can't have no annual fee. You can't have, no ATM fee. What would the banks do? Well, actually, there are companies that have no ATM fees. And that's what I want you to focus on. Companies that have no ATM fees for your card. So I have had people say in the comment section that they enjoy Charles Schwab because Charles Schwab offers ATM cards that have none of these fees when you're overseas. These are the kind of things I want you to look into. You can research them yourself, but if you have fees when you're overseas, that adds up. In fact, using the ATM one time can charge you enough that you can go have a nice meal. Here in Thailand, where I'm at now, an ATM fee can be almost 300 baht. That's $9. I'm gonna tell you right now, I can go get a steak dinner for $9 here. I don't wanna pay those fees. Even if it says on the ATM, you're gonna get charged that fee. That's fine. Just go forward with the transaction because you won't if you have the right card that protects you from those fees. Using credit cards when you're overseas. It is very convenient to have a good credit card when you're overseas because you're making that point of sale right there. You don't have to worry about going to an ATM and pulling out currency. But there are some downsides. The credit card can charge 2% or something like that to the vendor. So sometimes vendors will say, look, I want to charge you an extra 2% or 3% or whatever it might be. And that can be kind of a pain in the butt. But the reality is, I very seldom see that. Most of the time, the credit card is just used and I move on, and that's it. What I look for in a credit card that I take with me overseas, there's a few different things that I look for. The first thing is, I want to make sure that I'm not paying overseas conversion fees. I don't want to pay to have my money converted overseas. The next thing is, I don't want to pay special fees for using it in a foreign country. That's why I like credit cards that are designed for travel because they know that those are some of the things we don't want to pay. Now, this might surprise you. I don't mind if they charge an annual fee. And this is why I say that. I want 24-hour 1-800 number service for my credit cards. And a lot of times, if they're free, they don't have that. They say call between this time and that time back in the States if you need to talk to somebody, and that's not gonna work for me. If I'm overseas, I wanna make sure I can talk to somebody at any time about what's going on with my credit card. For that reason, I don't mind if they charge me a fee. They can charge me an annual fee. I'm gonna give you an example. I had a $1,000 fake charge that was put on a card that was taken from me. This is many years ago. I was able to make a call. I was able to get it cleared up. The hours that I made the call were crazy, didn't matter. And everything was cleared up during that phone call. Done. I never even had another issue about it. I think like a month later, they sent me an email telling me about it or something. That's why I don't mind paying a little bit for the most quality card that you can get. I just don't want to be charged for using it overseas. That's the main thing. If you have the right ATM card and the right credit card, when you're traveling overseas, it's just like you're in the US. The same thing. You're not getting charged ATM fees, and you're not getting charged for using your credit card overseas any special charges. And that's the way I like to do my banking overseas. There's a little bit more that I want to talk about. And that's how do I do safe, secure banking when I need to contact my bank. On my laptop and on my cell phone, I use what's called a VPN. Now that VPN is not expensive. In fact, for the whole year, it's something like, I don't know, $19 or something. And then when you re-up it, they give you like 3 months for free or something like that. And I don't have any particular company that's like paying me. The same thing with the credit cards and the same thing with the banks. No particular company is paying me. I just like to give you the information so that you know, so that you can do the correct research. I don't want anyone to think that I'm promoting a particular company. That's not the way to go. But when it comes to VPNs, what I have done is I put a VPN on my laptop and on my cell phone. No extra charge for having multiple devices. These are the things to look for. When I turn it on, I am able to connect to my banks and to my investments in the United States, the same as if I was sitting in the United States. And that's what I want to do. Secure, and it looks local. If you don't do that, when you try to log in to do any type of banking, or if you try to check anything on your credit card, or if you try to buy any stocks or sell any stocks, it will flag that someone from a foreign country is trying to connect to your system and shut it down. That's a safety feature. Now you got to wait a whole day until the next day when the US is open to call and say, yeah, that was me. Can you please turn everything back on? You go through a whole rigmarole of checking to see who you are, voice check, everything you can think of, right? You know, secret codes, you know what I mean? Eye scans, whatever they do, you know, to turn everything back on. No, I don't want to do any of that. I just use a VPN. The banks think that I am sitting in the US. Easy, done. That's how I handle my banking, my credit cards, and if I'm buying stocks, I use a VPN for everything. We got a chance during this video to talk about how I handle cash, how I handle credit cards, and how I handle my ATM cards, so that you can learn how to live overseas safe. I don't wire money to myself. I think that's just weird. This is not the 1970s, 1980s. We don't need to wire money to ourselves anymore, okay? I use the correct technology to not only make life easy, but no extra fees and high security. And I want you to do the same so that you travel and live overseas safe. Let's get off this beach. Things are starting to get crazy. Let's go get ourselves a bite to eat. I'm getting a little bit hungry. Let's go. Salt and butter, yep. Yum. Thank you for spending some time with me today. We got a chance to talk about the different aspects of how I manage my money overseas. Now, this is not going to be the perfect system for everyone, but I will tell you that I've been traveling now for almost 2 decades. And in doing that, it's been very important that I know how to manage my money so I'm not getting overcharged for things, and also so that I'm safe when I deal with my banking that's back in my home country. So I hope this information has been useful. We've got a lot more to talk about, and we've got lots of countries to travel to this year. Southeast Asia, I am looking forward to so many different locations this year, and it's just been wonderful. It is right now a great time to travel. I'm going to be covering more subjects that involve living overseas, helping you save money, and then also helping you manage your money, and how I live and how I travel the way I do full time. If you'd like to know more, like and subscribe to the video, and chat with us in the comment section as well. I'd like to know what your thoughts are on managing money overseas, and anything that I missed that has helped you. You could help other people as well, so let us know. Okay, I'll talk to you again soon. Aloha.
I walked around the corner and he spotted me. The mad dog of Patio. He trained to look like he's relaxing, but he's ready to strike. A vicious killer. The mad dog of Patio.
When I was in South America and here in Southeast Asia, just about every vendor had these little cell phone connected ATM, not ATM, damn it, let me try that again.